Hi, this video is a reflection of something interesting and unique that I experienced many years ago. So I sound archaic, isn't it? So about 25 years ago, I was working for this pharmaceutical company, Glaxo, and this was probably my fifth or sixth year of working with them. And over a dinner conversation, a friend of mine mentioned about an opening in Muscat in Oman, and and these were the days when openings in the Middle East were prized openings, uh, tax-free income, and a lot of new opportunities. And the organization he mentioned, Sanofi Winthrop, also added to my curiosity. And he mentioned that he saw this advertisement in a newspaper. And these were the days when there was no LinkedIn, no Monster.com or Naukri and different platforms to search for jobs. And advertisements in the newspapers was the only medium. And when we tried to recall that conversation the next day, and he mentioned that he had probably lost that newspaper somewhere, and this was in Delhi. So, and at least thankfully, he remembered the name of the newspaper, Times of India. So both of us drove down on a scooter to Bahadur Shah Zafar Marg. That's where the Times of India headquarters was. I think that's still there. And we went to that building and paid some 10 rupees, 15 rupees to the library where they have all the archived newspapers, and they identified a couple of papers, and after much research I was able to figure out the advertisement. And it had a PO box and no phone number, nothing but the name of the gentleman, the hiring manager, and the PO box. And uh, and I sent a telegram for people who probably have never used Telegram, a messenger, which the service that was offered by the post office, and it got discontinued a couple of years ago. So I sent them this Telegram message saying, "Hey, I'm interested in this particular position, but this there's no information about." This gentleman, because I've already missed the timelines. I had actually missed the deadlines for interviews in Delhi. So they did have the name of the hotel and the location, the timings and dates, but I had missed out. So I wrote to the Oman office of Sanofi Winthrop, and gladly they responded back in a few days, sharing the details, the number of the gentleman um, uh, in Bhopal. He was in Bhopal at that point of time. So I went to um a telephone booth and made and over the outstation call, and this gentleman says, "How did you get to know about this?" I said, "Hey, this is how I followed. I went to the Times of India archives and I found out a friend of mine had shared this information, and I seem to have missed the opportunity." And he said, "Yeah, you have missed the opportunity. I'm on a family vacation, and this is where my family lives. And before heading back to Oman, I had come here. So you've lost that opportunity. Sorry." And I don't know what happened to me. I said, "Hey, Mr. Srivastava," I remember his name as well. I said, if you don't get to meet me, you're going to be missing out on something." The brazen me, I don't know how I made that comment. He said, it generated some curiosity. He said, "Is that so?" I said, "Yeah, you're going to miss out." And he says, "Okay, how soon can you make it to Bhopal?" I said, "I can be there tomorrow. I remember, I know of a train that leaves late in the evening." And he says, "Okay, so let's meet tomorrow. Let's have tea in the morning." And he sent me the details. And the same evening, I boarded this train called Malwa Express, and of course, no prior booking, so there was no reserved seat. I recall sleeping in the general compartment on the floor with newspapers serving as my mattress for that night. And next day morning, when I reached Bhopal early morning, I asked the auto driver, the taxi, the mini taxi driver, to take me to this Arera colony. I remember the place so well. And but before doing that, I requested him if he could take me to some laundry shop, because I had to change my clothes and be a little presentable. And thankfully, he knew, because it was early morning, so there were no laundry stores open at that point of time. But he thankfully knew that there was a laundry person whose home was on its way, and he knew him. And that's where he took me, to the home of this laundry person. And he was kind enough to allow me to change my clothes, and and he ironed my shirt and trouser, and off I was to meet Mr. Srivastava. And he had asked me to carry my passport as well. So, so when I met this gentleman over tea, over a very general social conversation, he asked me if I could share my passport with him, and he looked at it and he said, "Do you would you like to get the ECNR, the employment check not required stamp by the passport authorities?" And I said, "Yeah, I can do that." And I said, "Wouldn't you want to ask me any more questions?" He says, "No, the whole process through which you reached out to me, I just wanted to meet you in person, and you have a job. These are the roles. This is the role, and this is the territory. And how soon can you join us?" And I was taken back by a pleasant surprise, and I was joyous. On my way back home, I called my sister, and I said, "I'll be meeting you on my way." She used to live in Agra, so on my way to Delhi, the train stopped briefly at Agra, so we met. And she was crying. She was highly emotional because she didn't wanted me to leave the country. Unfortunately, in the mid 90s, if some of you recall, there was a huge geopolitical conflict in Iran, Iraq, that region, Middle East. And so I was convinced by the family. There was a lot of pressure, but I just didn't pursue that offer. But the key message that I wanted to share with all of you is, even though this is something which was 25 years ago, I believe it's still relevant in today's time. If you're hungry, if you're curious, if you really desire something, you will find your way. You will definitely find your way. There'll be people who will come to support you, to help you. And in today's modern world, where we are hyper connected, we have everything that we need, right from Google to various tools on the internet, the access to WhatsApp, the access to social media. And the key message, as I end my video, is stay hungry, stay curious, as Steve Jobs motivated us with these terms. Apply them in real life, be courageous, ask for help, don't feel ashamed, and you will find some pleasant surprises waiting for you. I hope you enjoyed the story. Would like to hear your thoughts and maybe your own stories, which will inspire many. Thank you.